How you doing, everybody? Good. One of the things that I like to do with our family is to present healthy, vegetable-based foods with a small amount of protein paired along with it in new and interesting ways to kind of get our family excited about food. If I serve, there's only so many ways that I can serve chicken and shrimp without actually thinking about how to sort of get outside the box of grilled, sauteed. Is that the protein making its way? No, we're waiting for chicken and shrimp from the kitchen upstairs. One of the things I think is really, really exciting is to fight flavor fatigue and ingredient fatigue. But the problem is that the number of ingredients in our lives are kind of limited, and the number of flavors, therefore, is sort of limited. So what I try to do is make things fun and incorporate techniques from around the world to make it at least as varied as possible. Everywhere else in the entire planet cooks food with protein being an adjunct to grains and vegetables. You know, we just changed our meal wheel this year, our plate, what it's supposed to look like. So often in our country's history, we always thought of food as being something that was like 15 ounces of protein with a little bit of vegetable and a baked potato and a salad bar about 20 feet away and a big pile of rolls in the middle of the table. And that's not really the healthiest way to eat. So when I'm thinking about lots of vegetables, fun flavors, new techniques, and a varied way of presenting familiar ingredients, what I think of right away is Asian cuisine. Thank you very, very much. Perfect. My favorite thing to do is to make Chinese lettuce package. We make a lot of Asian food in our house. One of the things that I like to do with this dish is sort of vary the protein, even though today I'm doing shrimp and chicken. I have it diced here. You can use ground chicken. You don't need to use shrimp. If someone in your family obviously has a shellfish allergy, you certainly don't want to do that. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to season this. Usually I let it sit overnight with a little bit of cornstarch, a little bit of chili bean paste, which is available in the Asian aisle of any supermarket. And the nice thing for those of you that live around Washington, D.C., is you have a ton of Asian markets around here. Do you have my egg somewhere? And I usually like to loosen this with an egg yolk and an egg white. I took this zucchini that I found over here. Oftentimes we'll see an ingredient in the supermarket that just looks so beautiful and so fresh, you just want to include it in your meal. Or sometimes the recipe calls for carrots, but you happen to have a zucchini lying around. No egg? All right. I'm going to dice this and add it to my vegetable mixture. Add it here to my ginger. Usually I put an egg white in this. We don't have one with us right now. So I'm just going to put a little bit of water in there to loosen. And a little bit of soy sauce here to season that. Just about a half a teaspoon. I have a small amount here. So I've got my seasoned protein. I'm going to add a little bit of cooking oil to this. And I'm going to add my ginger, my garlic, my scallion. These are my aromatics, and I'm going to let those toast for a second. They toast very, very quickly. So don't be afraid to cook with speed. If you notice, I have all my ingredients already chopped and laid out here. When you're doing wok or stir-fry cookery, it's so important to do that because everything moves so quickly. All right. Now, the nice thing about a wok is that even though it's 12 inches, well, 10 inches across, you have about 22 inches of circular cooking surface because the heat convects up the sides of the metal right here. So when I push these ingredients to the middle or to the edges, I can add my other ingredients in the middle. Now those other ingredients, little red pepper, a little celery, because I want those to cook too. And I don't know if you can see this, but the chicken and shrimp is starting to almost be done. And I can tell because they're no longer sticking together. They're nice and separate. The pieces of shrimp are getting pink. Now, when you make this at home, this will take even less time to cook, and the reason is that your burner is going to throw up a few more BTUs than this portable one right here. I'm adding a little Chinese rice wine. The alcohol in there is going to burn off, and it's going to leave behind a very pleasant, dry, almost sherry-like flavor. If you don't have any around, don't worry about it, but sake works well. Sherry would work well. Japanese mirin works well, but it's just a little sweeter. Now we add a little bit of soy sauce, about a full teaspoon. And the reason we do that is that now that this is cooked, remember that first soy was just to season. Now we're actually cooking with it. We're going to reduce that soy along with that rice wine to a glaze around this. And I don't know if you could see that, but it's probably starting to look very familiar to you as something that you might get when you're eating out in your favorite Chinese restaurant. That slight spicy fermented flavor is that fermented bean paste, the tobanjian that I put in. Again, that's a very, very conventional Chinese ingredient that you could find in any ethnic food store or the Asian aisle in your supermarket. And I'm just going to let that cook for another 45 seconds or a minute to sort of tighten up. Season it with a little bit of salt and sugar. My last shot of scallion, which I always like. I love green onion with this dish, so I always add it twice, at the beginning and at the end. So I have the cooked onion flavor as well. Do we have a plate? Sadly, we can't do tastes right now. While that's cooking, let me show you how I do this at home. Lettuce cups are absolutely fun to cook with, but people sometimes don't like peeling apart the leaves. What I do is I cut the top off of my my head lettuce, and then you can just peel away these really elegant cups like that. Isn't that a beautiful little lettuce cup? So you have 3 cups. And you can either lay them out like this for folks to eat, or you can plate the whole mixture. Oh, thank you. You can plate the whole mixture and serve it with a big bowl of these lettuce pieces for people to help themselves and roll. Now, I don't know about you, but where I come from, when I put this down in front of my family, everybody wants to eat it. Who doesn't like to roll your own food, right? Super simple, really great. And what I would also tell you is that you have all of the great contrasts in food. And if you think about it, your favorite foods are going to be ones that have high contrast. Spicy and sweet, cold and hot, crunchy and soft. And this one has great texture with the shrimp and the chicken, the crunch of the vegetable, the crisp crunch of the lettuce, the spicy hot mixture that's inside. You can tone down the chilies to however you like it. It's sort of a perfect dish. And trust me when I tell you, if your kids are not eating enough vegetables because they don't like the sight of a big pile of broccoli on their plate, this dish, which is about 75% vegetables, is going to get them so excited about eating in a fresh and healthy way, it's absolutely going to boggle your mind. A teaspoon of oil goes into this at the beginning. That's all the fat that's in it. We basically trimmed as much as we can off of the chicken. I would suggest using dark meat as we did here. Don't use light. But if you want to use chicken breast, go right ahead. It just doesn't, it tends to cook up a little drier. It's extremely healthy. It's really fast. It stretches if you're on a budget. I don't know. One of our family's favorite dishes. So we have a lot of fantastic chefs for you today. I hope you all have a happy Easter. I hope you find lots of eggs. If you're under the age of 70, get your face painted. I'm not kidding. I'm getting mine painted later on. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the afternoon or morning. Oh, and for those that are interested, the recipe is on my website. I think it's also on the White House website as well. See you later. Have a great day.